But
please don't say that. Only one mad at me. So, I mean, that's not already mad at me. So, all right. Well, sorry. All right. Sorry. Appreciate you guys all being here. Thank you. Obviously, good win for us last week. Really appreciate Houston Christian. I thought their team, they competed hard. They played hard for the full game. It was good to get all of our guys who don't start, get them in, for a whole half. And I think that'll benefit us as we move forward into this week. This week, first of all, just an honor to have the 95 team there. Really great experience last year at Colorado to have the 94 team. So look forward to having the 95 team there. And we'll certainly do our best to play football that they can be proud of. I want to make sure I extend congratulations to Terrence Crawford. A historic night. And really cool to see, Netflix, see the whole world, see him as he sports the Nebraska N, for everything on his mouthpiece, and seeing all the guys that are with him all wearing Cornhusker red. It's just those things are, I know some people might not completely buy into it all, but it's just those things in this world that we're living in now, that those of us were day to day. It's just so important. It's not even 5 years ago anymore. It's the world that we live in with this generation of kids we're recruiting, and they're great players. His brand is cool, and we are grateful that Terrence would represent his home state the way that he does, and then obviously just a historic night. A lot of respect for it. With that, we turn to this week. Obviously, we've won 5 of our last 6, and so our guys are starting to understand the process. They're starting to understand, going back into last year, how to do things at a high level. They weren't giddy yesterday. They weren't happy about some of the things. There's some things we have to really improve upon. I'll make light of a couple. Obviously, our kickoffs right now is in the kicking game. We can't keep kicking the ball out of bounds. When we do kick the ball, we had some good coverage, but that has to improve. Our goal to go offense inside the 10. We're 69% red zone touchdowns. Our goal is 70. 70 is we think a CFP number. Yet inside the 5 or 6 of our last 9, 3 of them we haven't scored. So the numbers should be through the roof right now. So we have to improve that. And then defensively, obviously, we're facing a team that's 15. I believe their rushing offense is 15th. And so they have a quarterback who's mobile, who can run. And so obviously that showed up in the first game. They will use tempo. They will use sugar huddle. So those are things that showed up in the first game we haven't seen in the last 2, but we'll have to be prepared for that. So a lot for us to work on. I love the way the guys have approached it. And now it begins. A Big Ten season begins, and we're excited for it.
How's this Michigan offense compare strategically, schematically to the one you saw in 23?
I wouldn't spend a lot of time comparing. They were different. You know what I mean? But they still have the same, core philosophies. I mean, like I said, they are 15th in rush offense, and they're 25th in rush defense, right? Like they're gonna have elite play up front on both sides of the ball, and so the quarterback brought the dynamic element of, he was their leading rusher in the last game. That hadn't really happened the first 2 games. More of a pocket player in this last game. It was, get out and utilize his legs and his skill set. So that obviously adds another element to it. But they're based on the same core philosophy. Philosophy of they're going to control the lines of scrimmage, and they've done that in so far this year.
Do you think these first 3 games, how do you think they've adequately prepared your team for this sort of challenge?
Yeah, not very often. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know that I know how to answer that. To be quite honest with you, I think that's going to be more hindsight. I mean, I think Cincinnati's gone on to prove that they're a pretty good football team. Just watching them. I mean, I saw what Sorsby did. I know they're playing an FCS opponent, but they've thrown the ball for, I think, almost 600 yards in the last 2 games. So so I mean, I think we can play pretty good pass defense. So I think we had a chance to see some of those things. I think the biggest thing is we've had 3 weeks of just preparation for those games. The games are really where you go execute and compete. I mean, to me, it's the work week leading up to it that makes your team better. And I think our guys have worked hard the last 3 weeks to prepare, and they've just been very mature about, hey, this is what we need to improve on each week. Like right now, there's not a guy who doesn't know what we need to improve upon, and that'll continue for the rest of the year. So I don't know if the games themselves say much. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not playing Big Ten teams. So I mean, now the Big Ten starts. This is a whole other animal. But I think our guys have worked.
And Coach, Michigan 2 games in a row without their head coach. Just from your perspective, how hard would it be to coach a game and go through game week without the head coach involved?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I hate to say it'd be easy because I'm like, what the heck am I doing? You know, I've never been a part of that, you know, obviously, so I don't know what that would be like. I'm not sure. You know, obviously they went through it, you know, 2 years ago a little bit, so they know how to do it. I would say that I have a great coaching staff, and you know, Susan would run the staff meeting. Wish would make sure everybody had the schedule, and Dana and John would do their job. So I mean, I think we all are professionals on our staff. How they're handling it, though, I'm not real sure.
How do you feel about some veterans like Malcolm and Javin who were maybe held back?
Yeah, they'll play. Yeah, they'll play. Yep. I mean, they, you know, the thing with Javin was, you know, it was at first it was like, hey, what is this? You know what I mean? Like we have to be so abundantly cautious whenever he feels something. But the doctors quickly said, hey, you know, he's just got a little strain. Just seemed better to hold him. It was later in the week. Malcolm, you know, he went out and moved around last night. We practiced last night. He moved around last night. So I would expect to see Malcolm and Javin ready to go.
Just a quick follow-up. Gabe and did Elijah get dinged a little bit? Or are they good to go?
Elijah Pritchett.
Jeudy.
Oh yeah, Jeudy took a helmet to the thigh. I mean, he was in there this morning in treatment. He practiced last night, so he's good to go. Gabe Moore's good to go. Gabe was arguing with me on the sidelines about going back in the game, so I mean, he wanted to play. So it's just, you know, he's been a long road back from the ACL he had like 4 years ago, and then some of the hamstring stuff is related to that. So you know, he played well. It was worth keeping him out of and getting some of the younger guys in.
Hey, to go 3 games without a 3 and out on offense, what's that mostly a reflection of?
I think it just goes back to sort of Dana's approach of routine plays. You know, there's times where the negative of that, you know, you're not drawing up a bunch of stuff that maybe have a ton of, you know, huge explosives, you know, but at the same time, you know, the ball's always being advanced. You know, if you go back to when we talked about, I don't know why I have this in my hand. we talked about the Cincinnati game, we said, hey, we wanted to put the ball in play. You know, we wanted 56 runs and completions, and it was somewhere in the 60s, right? So I think part of that then is just continuing that mindset. That wasn't like a Cincinnati, that's just our mindset. We want to put the ball in play. We want to run the ball, we want to complete the ball. Run the ball, complete the ball. So as a result, because we're so much more, you know, balanced in terms of run and pass than we have been previously, you know, when people do pressure us, we're not having as many negative plays because the ball might be coming out, right? And I think a large part of this is also Dylan and even TJ. Now, TJ did, you know, I mean, he got in the game. Like, we don't change the offense for TJ. Like, you know, we had a play, checked with the play. He saw pressure. He went to the check. So, really pleased with the quarterback play and how well coached they are and how much they're buying into that. So, but I think it's just a matter of getting the ball in play. A large percentage of that, too, is we just have a lot of penalties right now. You know, so, you know, it's really those first down penalties. You know, we have had a couple, but, you know, you're not in first and 15. You're not in second and 12 because you have negative plays.
Y'all have had a different theme every week. Is there one this week?
Yeah, I probably won't talk about the theme. And it's really just the mission. Like I said, we kind of went to that military mindset of just every week there's a mission that we're going to try to carry out. I talked about it last week because I knew we were going to do the all red uniforms, and I know that sometimes can be disconcerting for people, and I understand it, right? Like if Penn State came out in all blues, I would lose my mind. So I can prompt, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it. But it was really important to the players. The players got together over the summer. They talked about, hey, we want to do this week and this week. And all I've asked the guys for, I've came up with this term. I don't know if it's a real term. You guys are the writers. You guys will feel free to tear it apart if it's not good. But I've called it like universal individuality. Like everybody wants to do something. So if we're going to do something, then everybody do it, right? So like if I want to wear Red Sox. Okay, this whole game we'll wear Red Sox, but everyone's going to wear Red Sox. I had them all get together as a team and come up with it, and they really wanted to wear the all red combination, you know, and so we went out and did it. So that was, I kind of let that out, and I knew it was really important to me that we supported Bud Crawford. And that came from the players. That was Dylan that came to me and said, hey, can we wear these T-shirts? Hey, you know, can we do this? Can we do that? I really appreciate Jay, Terry, Susan for working with Al Recker and Adidas on that. But moving forward, I'll probably keep those just a little bit more internal because I'm not super creative. They're not great.
I didn't know if it was anybody can be a nobody this week.
No, you know what? No, but it's not. You know, it's funny. I was in the training room yesterday and D-Bell was like, oh, I told my grandpa, like, Coach Rhule's gonna be talking about that fight for the whole team meeting long. So I just showed like, hey, I just showed one little bit of it, but I, because I know one thing that's pretty cool about it. I know all of our players watched it. Like I had guys texting me like, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? So we have a pretty locked in, close group right now.
What was it like being out there in Vegas? And did you get to meet any notable people just in your brief trip out there?
Well, it was my wife's birthday, and we went out with Troy and Amy Dannon. So I won't say how old my wife turned 22, so I'm happy for her. I had the team sing to her in the locker room. Julie's not like a. So, I've met a lot of coaches' wives. Some coaches' wives love attention. My wife does not like attention. And so she was kind of upset. But we went out there and did that, and it was really cool. At the end of the day, I think just going down and seeing Bud afterwards, seeing Terrence afterwards, and just seeing how happy he was that we were all there was really a really cool moment for us. I saw a bunch of the famous people. I didn't, I saw, it's funny, Steven Jackson was at practice here for us, the great Rams running back. He was at practice here on Friday, came to the game, and then I saw him and Orlando Pace as they were walking in, and I said to Orlando, you probably don't, I just remembered you played goal line defense and short yardage defense at Ohio State, and he was shocked that someone remembered that. So I was like, I remember being on the scout team at Penn State watching those things. But yeah, I thought it was an amazing atmosphere. I've been blessed in my life. I was at the Super Bowl at Baylor. I took the Baylor job. I went to the Super Bowl when Tom Brady came back against the Falcons. I was with my dad was a minister. My dad would do a lot of chapels, so we got tickets to things. He'd do like the visiting team or home team chapels. I was at Game 6 of the '86 World Series when the ball went through Buckner's legs. I was at Game 7. I went with my mom to Game 7. This was the greatest sporting event I've ever been to. This was the absolute best thing that I've ever been a part of. And to take out the fact that obviously I was Team Crawford. It was just take out the pomp and circumstance. Just two warriors in the ring, and then, when he took I forget was it the 5th round, he took that punch and he smiled at him. I was like, oh, we got it. And then in the last round, I'm the biggest compete. I was screaming like, get away! You got this one. Stop! But that's what makes him him. And so, but no, it was an amazing experience. It was cool to see. I saw a ton of Nebraska people. Originally, I was like, well, I'll kind of go out there incognito, and that, there was no incognito. There was Huskers were everywhere, and I said on the radio this morning, but I asked our team if I could go. I didn't want to do anything that was a distraction, and our guys were like, "Don't ask us what we're doing after the game. We want to ask you what you're doing." So,
would you like to play a game there?
Sorry?
Would you like to play a game there or something?
Not
a whole game, but
like play in Allegiant. Yeah, that'd be really interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Like, I had never been there, before that, and so it was kind of, like I'd been to like SoFi, and I've been to the Viking Stadium, and I think those are elite. They're like the new modern palaces, So yeah, I think that'd probably be pretty interesting. I'd have to ask Fred how the Crown experience was. So I think they had a great time. I mean, but yeah, it'd probably be pretty cool.
What have you thought of Michigan's offensive line this year compared to maybe years past?
I can't compare them to the past, because I don't remember anything really from. I'd have to study it, you know what I'm saying? But they're an outstanding offensive line. They're big, they're powerful, they're athletic. They run all the runs. Anytime your head coach is an offensive line coach, you probably put a lot of stock in that. So. This is an excellent top 25 football team. They're 2-1 because they played another top 10 football team and they had a battle. It'll be an unbelievable challenge. It'll be a great challenge.
How would you describe just the opportunity for Nebraska's national profile going up against a ranked team, a brand new?
Yeah, we're going to play a lot of ranked teams this year. I think yes, we'll have this opportunity many times. The Big Ten is the Big Ten. You know what I mean? It's I think one of the cool things that Tony Petitti's done. I think one of the chess moves, one of the chess moves he's done is, that was an iconic, SEC time, right? The 2:30, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Eastern CBS game, right? Even the Friday night game. I know last week it was a different. Last week was what? It was UCLA, New Mexico, but you have all these national games, and so. Players all across the country. When you're at the University of Nebraska, we have a chance to recruit the whole country. They all have a chance to see us on national TV. The NBC Saturday night game. All these things are important. And a lot of the teams in our conference. I don't know who has what, but some of them they don't play at night. Certain times they have old tolerances. We don't have any of those. So they can put us whenever they want us. So if you're a good team, you're going to have a chance to play a lot of national games where everybody there to watch you. But you look at the history of Nebraska. You think about the Oklahoma game, and everyone in the world watched the game, right? So it's just let's go be on TV, and let's try to perform at a high level when we are on TV.
Why do you think you guys have had some of the red zone struggles inside the 10?
I hate when coaches say execution, but we had a like going back to last week. We had Ja'Cory on an out route, and we just didn't connect on it. We went back to that same play this week. It's fourth down. We teach to reach the ball across the goal line on fourth down. We had 2 fourth downs where we didn't reach because we're don't reach the ball across the goal line. We're yelling at Williams for not having 5 points of ball security as he's a defensive lineman scoring a touchdown. But the thing is, if it's the last play of the half, if it's a 2-point or the game, if it's a 2-point play or if it's fourth down, we should reach it because there's nothing to lose. We didn't do either one of those, so I think great teaching moments. But I wouldn't say it's any one thing as much as it is just we just haven't kind of put it all together yet. So we'll have a separate period for it. We've always do it, but we'll have add some emphasis to it this week and try to get better.
Based on his performance in 3 games, how do you feel about Dylan's readiness for the Big Ten?
Yeah, Dylan's more than ready. Yeah, I mean it's a tough league. You're going to face great teams. It's never just Dylan. It's to me. You stop passing games 2 ways, right? If you can strap people up and play man and lock them down, then great. Not everyone can do that, and the best offensive coordinators have answers for that. And then it's the ability to get pressure on the quarterback, and it's not sacks. It's can you get in the paint? Can you get around the quarterback's feet? Can you bother him? Can you stress him? And so if we have great protection, and we've had great protection, then quarterback's going to be unbelievably efficient. And so, we are. I don't know what we are. He gives me a bunch of nice stuff. Like we're 5th in passing right now. I thought it was really, really critical what happened early in the game. We took a play action pass, and there was a 25-mile-an-hour wind coming, from the south end zone, and to throw that ball deep down the field to Dane into the wind, I thought was really, really important. But Dylan's working at a high level, but he'll be the first to tell you it's the 5 guys up front. It's the tight ends, it's the backs. It's everybody being where they're supposed to be that allows him, and then allowing him to go up there with 2 plays most of the time and check plays. Everyone has to be unbelievably locked in. So if he just says alert, or just gives a hand signal, they all go to the second play, and they've been very locked in.
Is there anything in particular that defines Wink Martindale that you just expect when he's calling defense?
Yeah, Wink's elite pressure. Yeah. He's pressure. He's one of my favorite coaches when I was in the NFL. I just got a lot of respect for him. He's a tough guy. These guys are going to play unbelievably hard. What I just said, how do you stop a passing game? You get pressure on the quarterback, and he can do that multiple ways. And part of the pressure is also painting pictures for the quarterback and showing him different things. A lot of quarterbacks can come out and say, oh, it's man. This is my man beater. Oh, it's cover 2. I should throw the ball here. It's when the picture changes, that's hard for a lot of guys. They just throw the ball to the man beater, but it was cover 3, or they throw the ball. And so that's what we're always working on, Dylan and TJ, and those guys want to see in the picture. You have a pre-snap clue, but it has to be confirmed by a post-snap cue. Oh, I should go here with the ball, pre-snap. But then the picture changes, and then I confirm it post-snap on whatever that cue is, the safety, the corner. And I think Wink, like John, does a great job of showing you one picture. Oh, here he comes. Then they bring the jack and the corner. Oh, they run to cover 2. They bring 5-man pressure. They run to cover 2. So Dylan he'll have to be prepared. Coaches will have to be prepared for all the different pictures you see and might see.
Is facing Butler's defense all the time in practice going to help him with that because of Butler's?
Yeah, Dylan's had 2 years of every Tuesday starting off with a 0 blitz probably in his face when we go team compete. He's seen everything, right? We're 3 down, we're 4 down, we're bare, that's very similar. So, but at the end of the day, when you face a well-coached team, you're going to see things that you haven't seen before, and it's really about your ability to get back to the sideline, talk to your coaches, stay in the moment, and just say, hey, we've prepared for everything, but this is something we haven't prepared for. But yeah, our defense is difficult because we don't have any man clues, right? Our corners take one when they play man, so we can't tell who it is, and Dylan has to see a lot of things post snap, and I think that helps him.
Dylan's, it's a loaded question, but Dylan's,
I'm glad you said that.
Overall quarterback acumen help you sort of rest easier in a game like this. before a game like this? Just as overall, you always talk about having at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, yeah.
Prepared.
No, I think it's a great question. I don't think it's a loaded question. I think when you have a quarterback that is going to get you out of bad plays and let you call plays, right? Like there's a great clip of Tom Brady talking about it, and I remember sending it to all of our quarterbacks. If I'm going to run outside zone into a free safety blitz, it's, open side outside zone into a free safety blitz, it's not going to work. So don't do it. And how many plays in college football can you throw away? You don't want to throw away a lot of plays. So having a quarterback who, whether you say, hey, 19-1 to kill it to 18 support, but if you get to, but now with the headset, so you can have the checks built in, but Dylan knows, hey, I'm running, I'm going to run outside zone to the left if the corner's coming, if the free safety's coming, I'm going to use my cadence. I'm going to try to see if they're coming. If they're coming, I'm going to go to this play. Like, he knows all the problems. And so I think it just allows the play caller to call plays knowing he'll get him in the right play. So you're not always worried about worst case scenario. I mean, it was 3rd and 1 last game, and we took a play action shot. And we tried to hit the post, and we ran into the corner, kind of got in our way, ran into the corner, and we hit Mills on the Cortez, hit Tezzy on the sail route for like a 20-yard gain. The fact that he's mature enough to get to the second one is great. There's a play, we throw the old dagger concept, and number one, Isaiah runs a great route. Their corner sees it, and he drives on it, and Emmett's wide open in the flat. And if you go back and watch the All-22, you'll see Dylan, after he throws the ball, it gets incomplete, he's pointing to the tailback. He's mad at himself, like, I should have gone there. So, things are going to happen. Going back to your point, there's going to be a lot of things happen to the Big Ten. We're going to face significantly better teams than an FCS team. That's no disrespect to you. I think they're an excellent FCS team. We're going to face top 10, top 15, top 25 teams. It gets a lot harder. But, that's why I said we won 5 of our last 6. We can't control who we played. You know what I mean? Like, you could sit there and say, well, Matt, how many of those were bold? I'm with you. We just play who was in front of us. They've done some good things. We have to do better things moving forward. But I think he's playing high.
As mature as he is and was coming in as a freshman, how much more comfortable is he than in this situation a year ago going into his first game in the Big Ten? In the situation that Underwood is in coming here this week?
Yeah, I can't speak on anyone else other than Dylan, but I'll just say, like, to your point, like, everything Dylan went through last year was for the first time, right? So it was like, here's my first time a Big Ten opener as a freshman. Here's my first time. We had the amazing atmosphere of the Colorado game, which was an epic atmosphere. So we had that first, but we had all those things. The thing, each person, though, they have an innate internal motivation and competitive drive. And I remember saying in the press conference last year, like, Dylan was throwing after practice, and he was like play faking and throwing, and he was practicing the throw against Illinois when Luke ran down the middle of the field on 3rd down, and we didn't connect it. And he was like, that'll never happen to me again. And it's those guys who are driven by the adverse. A lot of guys, adversity hits, they don't want to think about it. It's just too painful. They go to find people who will tell them, hey, don't worry about it. The great ones are driven by that kind of stuff. And so, but yeah, I think it's, it was difficult. This will be game 17 for him. He's game 16 for him coming up, 16. We played 13 last year. He played 3 this year so far. So this will be game 17. Dylan will just get better and better and better. And, we haven't had to go down in 2 minutes to win a game that matters, and we had 2 minutes for the half. That was not him. That's us as an offense. So it's about going. I bet you he's up there right now. If he's not in class, I bet you he's up there right now, just chasing edges. He sent me a text, on Saturday after the game. He sent me a text, and it was him, his whiteboard at his house or apartment, wherever he lives, and it was Michigan, and he was already starting to draw up the stuff. So he'll be prepared.
Hey, how's it been having Phil Snow back in the fold and working with you over the last 9 months in the first 3 games?
It's amazing. Outside of my own father, I don't know, who's had more of an influence on me in coaching. And I can say, obviously, Coach Paterno. I can, obviously say Tom Coughlin, those guys, but I don't think anyone's had a bigger influence on me than Phil. And so just you can say it's this part of coaching, that part of coaching. For me, it's just walking into his office and just getting a little bit of knowledge. So I remember Susan was like, he has the office next to Susan. And I remember her saying to me, "Don't ever move Phil." Because he's just knowledge and wisdom with no agenda. You walk by, you always see players in there. Because he will. I said something to Deshaun last week. I said, I hope Deshaun will be okay with me saying this. I said, hey, I want this play from you. I want, this is my standards here. And he said, yeah. He goes, and then Coach Snow wants this, you know? And I was like, right, but is it working? Deshaun Singleton's playing some of his best football right now. But he's got Phil, who, like, no matter how hard you play, he's going to say you're not playing hard enough. No matter how detailed you are, he's going to say you have to be more detailed. But he backs it up and he lives by it. So having him, make no mistake, I think that was something that I needed personally, just having that sounding board. And he will. I mean, I just can't tell you. I mean, he came up to me in the middle of camp. He's like, "You're not tough anymore. You used to be so much tougher. And, you're not showing sheet plays anymore. You're not." And he was right. He was right. So you need people like that who keep you honest.
You had a few players after the game on Saturday kind of talk about how you viewed the first 3 games as like a quote-unquote preseason, maybe just unintentionally. How does that maybe kind of factor into their mindset now starting the Big Ten?
Yeah, it was the preseason. I mean, we're trying to train them for the NFL. Doesn't mean your standards any lower. It just means that, like, we want to win the Big Ten. Every team wants to win the Big Ten in the Big Ten, and so they only base it based off of your Big Ten games. That doesn't mean it's okay to lose it. That's nothing to do. We're still competing, right? It's just, my point was, you're facing an inferior opponent. But like I talk about Johnny Bullock, right? John made the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why? Because of what he did every day at practice. Now, if he had a mindset of like, it's just practice, or for the last preseason game 3, if he was like, it's just a preseason game, he wouldn't have made the team. But he made the team because he went out and played on 4 special teams. And so, to me, I want our guys, instead of saying, why am I not getting these opportunities? You have to establish your identity on the team. When you have a chance, you have to go make good plays. Just think about how TJ Lateef and what he's done. Like, when he's gotten his opportunity, he's played well. So now with his opportunity, he's going to have an opportunity. We'll have so much confidence in him. Not that we didn't before, but because he's attacked everything. And so I think that's been the mindset for us. Is we don't want to play. We don't want to. We're playing an FCS school. It's a nameless, faceless opponent. The true opponent, we can't control how good the other team is. They might be here. They might be here. The true opponent's ourselves. And am I playing to my standard? And so we believe that. We don't just believe that when we're playing the FCS schools, but then we're going to go out there and play a ranked team and be like, no, that's not going to change that now. We're in year 3. The guys have to understand that's not about any of that. Like, we can't have the stuff we had happen last year happen. So one standard, and it's us. And so that was just kind of the mindset of that.
Matt, coming out of camp, did you have some feeling that the pass defense could be elite this year, or how do you kind of judge those results so far?
Yeah, I think when I saw, talk about what Sierra Wright did last week. He moved from corner, and he slid inside and played nickel. And that's not because we don't think Jameer is an excellent. Jameer went out there and played really well too. It was just Donovan Jones has been playing so well, playing the dime, playing outside. Marquise Buford's playing excellent football. When Malcolm went down, Sierra said, hey, Sierra knows how to do that. He went and slid inside, and Donovan's really comfortable when he's outside. He likes to get physical with receivers. So I think we felt that way. Like, Rex Guthrie's probably our most, we had an NFL executive come in the other day, and he asked me, he said, hey, who's 21? And I said, Emmett. He was like, no, on defense, who's 21? And I'm like, oh, Rex. He's like, yeah, I love the way he moves. And so Emmett's obviously a pro too. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, you always go to the older guy first, but we got some guys who can really play, and John's doing a great job of getting them in different packages. I think Addison's demeanor is perfect for DBs. Like, he's got like this calm but demanding demeanor. And so you have John, who's been in the NFL for a long time. You have Addison, who's an elite DB coach. You have Snow working with the safeties. You have Adam working. So we have a lot of resources there. But I just would say Marquise Buford is one of the best leaders I've been around in my time. Like, he's old school. He is not afraid. He is not afraid to get after you. And he's also, if he's wrong, he will take it. He's not wrong very often, obviously, but he's not one of those guys. Some guys just want to lead when it's convenient. Deshaun Singleton's an excellent football player. I would say, like, what means a lot to me is the level of buy-in we've gotten from Sierra. The way Sierra is one of the smartest guys I've coached. He's an unbelievable football brain, and unbelievable, just even socially and personally. Like, he's got a true sense of justice and what's right. And so I love him. So, he's someone, like, you have to explain to him why you're doing things, and he'll do it for you. But I'm saying he's bought into it. And I think Sierra coming over to, like, hey, I'm a Husker, has been such a pivotal thing because the players respect him so much. He's a captain. He's a single digit. And then I think Marshall. I think he's. You think about what Andrew's done, like coming from Idaho, coming to here. He was really well coached in Idaho. That coach Eck. That guy's a real. He's in New Mexico now. That guy's a real guy. His DB coach, I believe, was a Husker. So that was one of the ties, when he came here. So, he had a chance to go anywhere he wanted. He came here. Either he coached here, maybe. I'm sorry. One of you guys will figure it out.
Jackson.
What?
Dan Jackson, South Dakota State.
Yeah, and then Dan went to the so thank you for that. But yeah, Marsh is a competitor, and so then you throw Donovan Jones, what he is, so I think we have really good players. I think they've bought in. I think the coaching's been really good. I couldn't coach defensive backs. I wouldn't let myself coach youth defensive backs. I don't know anything about it, right? So but I know what good coaches look like, and I think we have good coaches, and the buy-in from those guys is elite.
Why, you say Colombo demanding for a DB's coach, why is that?
Because
Why is that a good description?
Because if they blitz if we blitz in a game, and Dylan gets sacked, even I had to say, who was that? Well, maybe the running back didn't scan back for the corner. When you're playing DB and you get beat, everybody knows it. There's no place to hide, right? And so, especially in our defense. So, as a defensive back, there's so much pressure on you. You can run the wrong route at receiver, and no one knows. You play the wrong coverage at DB, everyone knows. So there's just nowhere to hide, right? And so, I think they live in a world of just so much pressure, not pressure in a bad way, just like every play is a touchdown if they don't do their job, that they have to have a confidence and a swagger, and then they have to have people behind them, that are coaching them, but coaching them, the mental part of it too, not just the physical part, at a really high level. And so I've always had great secondary coaches. I had Fran Brown, the head coach of Syracuse, great coach. I obviously had Phil Snow. I had Fran, and then I had Coop, who's now doing a great job at Florida State, and then now we had John. John's been in the NFL for a long time, and now Addison's right in that mix. And I think all of those guys, they work on the mental side of the game, because we would never know if a wideout had it in there or not. But if a DB gets beat, I tell you what, if they hear it from me, they hear it from everybody. And so it's just such a different position.
Kenneth Williams, do you remember, Matt, how you got him into your program? Was he somebody you knew about?
Yeah, I remember exactly how. At the time, we had a couple kids committed to us that were really good track athletes. So I would read the track times every week to see who was running fast. And I said, there's a kid at Lincoln, was he Lincoln? He was Lincoln High, right? Yeah. So there's a kid at Lincoln High that ran 10.4 or 10.5. I said, who is it? And so I remember calling Keith and Ed, and they called over the coach, and he had moved in as a senior, and then he hadn't signed anywhere. And so he was looking at some places, but he decided, so he came to our camp in the summer. We did like a portal camp. It was really a post-grad camp. And we weren't planning on doing a portal camp. I remember seeing Coach Sanders over at Colorado. I did a portal camp. I was like, that's brilliant. Steal that. We put out our camp. And he came over and he worked out for us. And he ran 4.4, and he was dynamic. I mean, if you watch the tackle of him running down on kickoff, I'll show it to our whole team, and he is flying down the field and does not break stride, makes a tackle at the 15-yard line. So he's just kind of been waiting his turn. But the good thing is, he's found some roles, and he's doing a good job. Caught the ball at backfield, returned to kickoff. But he's a 10-400 meter kid, that's tough, and he was right here in Lincoln. We just didn't know about it, but thankfully, thanks to the newspaper people in here for posting those things.
How about Archie on the victory formation?
Yeah.
Whose idea was that?
That was mine. There's only 10 guys out there though. I told Archie a couple times. I said, "Hey, if you don't punt," I said before the game, I said, "If you don't punt, you're going in on victory." He's like, just stand back there. I was like, yes. So then we pulled out the running back, and the running backs were there. If you watch it, if you watch the All-22, it's kind of cool because he has a cool little clap at the end, like he's pretty happy. So, but we're like I said, it's coming. Big, the Big Ten is here. We've got a ranked opponent. We're going to need he's a weapon. We're going to need him to be ready to go. And so it's good to get him in though. All right, thank you, everybody.